Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'm Windhoof, and this is a look at the priest talents for the Legion beta. So, without further ado, let's get started. First up, we're going to be looking at Discipline. For our level 15 talents, we have the Penitent. Penance may be cast on a friendly target, healing them for X amount over 1.5 seconds. Next we have Castigation. Penance fires one additional bolt of holy light over its duration. Third we have Schism. Attack the enemy's soul with a surge of shadow energy, dealing X amount of shadow damage and increasing damage that you deal to the target by 30% for 6 seconds. For our level 30 talents, we have Angelic Feather. Places a feather at the target location, granting the first ally to walk through it 40% increased movement speed for 5 seconds. Only 3 feathers can be placed at one time, maximum of 3 charges. Next we have Body and Soul. Power Word Shield and Leap of Faith increases your target's movement speed by 40 seconds for 3 seconds. Third we have Masochism. When you cast Shadow Mend to yourself, its damage over time effect heals you instead. For our level 45 talents we have Shining Force. Creates a burst of light around a friendly target, knocking away nearby enemies and slowing their movement speed by 70% for 3 seconds. Also allows you to build up an army to stop a crazed maniac from summoning the Dark Dragon. Second, we have Psychic Voice. Reduces the cooldown of Psychic Scream by 30 seconds. After that, we have Dominant Mind. You may also control your own character while Mind Control is active, and Mind Control now lasts 1 minute, but it may not be used against players. For our level 60 talents, we have Power Word Solace. Strike an enemy with heavenly power, dealing X amount of holy damage and restoring 0.75% of your maximum mana. Next we have Shield Discipline. When your Power Word Shield is completely absorbed, you instantly regenerate 1% of your maximum mana. After that we have Mindbender. Replaces Shadow Fiend. Summon a Mindbender to attack the target for 12 seconds. You regenerate 0.75% of your maximum mana each time the Mindbender attacks. For our level 75 talents, we have Contrition. Increases atonement duration by 3 seconds. Next we have Power Infusion. Infuses you with power over 20 seconds, increasing haste by 25% and reducing the mana cost of all spells by 20%. Third, we have Twist of Fate. After healing a target below 35% health, you deal 20% increased damage and 20% increased healing for 10 seconds. For your level 90 talents, we have Clarity of Will. Shields the target with a protective ward for 20 seconds, absorbing X amount of damage. Next we have Divine Star. Fires a Divine Star forward 24 yards, healing allies in its path for X amount and dealing X amount of holy damage to enemies. After reaching its destination, Divine Star returns to you, healing allies and damaging enemies in its path again. Third, we have Halo. Creates a ring of holy energy around you that quickly expands to a 30-yard radius, healing allies for X amount and dealing X amount of holy damage to enemies. For our level 100 talents, we have Purge the Wicked. Replaces Shadow Word Pain. Cleanses the target with fire, causing X amount of fire damage and an additional X amount of fire damage over 20 seconds. Spreads to an additional nearby enemy when you cast Penance on the target. Next we have Grace. Increases your non-atonement healing and absorption by 30% on targets with atonement. And lastly we have Shadow Covenant. Replaces Power Word Radiance. Draw on the power of shadows to heal up to 5 injured allies within 30 yards of the target for X amount, but leaves a shell on them that absorbs the next X amount of healing they receive within 6 seconds. Next we'll be looking at the Holy Talents. For our level 15 talents, we have Trail of Light. When you cast Flash Heal, 40% of the healing is replicated to the previous target you healed with Flash Heal. Next we have Enduring Renewal. Your single target healing spells refresh the duration of your renew on the target. After that, we have Enlightenment. You regenerate mana 10% faster. For our level 30 talents, we have Angelic Feather, which is the same as the previous specialization. We also have Body and Mind. Heals the target for X amount every 1 second and increases their movement speed by 40% for 4 seconds. We also have Desperate Prayer. Heals you for 20% of your maximum health and increases your maximum health by 20%, increasing 2% every second. For our level 45 talents, we have Shining Force, which again is the same as the previous specialization. We also have Censor. Holy Ward. Chastise stuns the target for 5 seconds and is not broken by damage. After that, we have Afterlife, increases the duration of Spirit of Redemption by 50%. For our level 60 talents, we have Light of the Naru. Serendipity reduces the remaining cooldown on Upright Holy Ward by an additional 2 seconds. Nailed it. Next, we have Guardian Angel. When Guardian Spirit expires without saving the target from death, reduces its remaining cooldown to 90 seconds. Third, we have a Symbol of Hope. Bolster the morale of all healers in your party or raid within 40 yards, allowing them to cast spells for no mana for 10 seconds. For our level 75 talents, we have Surge of Light. Your healing spells and smite have a 8% chance to make your next flash heal instant and cost no mana, maximum of 2 charges. Next, we have Binding Heal. Heals you, another friendly target, and a third friendly target within 20 yards for X amount. Triggers Serendipity, reducing remaining cooldown on both Holy Word Serenity and Holy Word Sanctify by 3 seconds. Third, we have Piety. Prayer of Mending now triggers Serendipity, reducing the remaining cooldown on Holy Word Sanctify. For our level 90 talents, we have Divinity. When you heal with a Holy Word spell, your healing is increased by 20% for 8 seconds. Next, we have Divine Star and Halo, which function the same as the previous specialization talents. For our level 100 talents, we have Epithesis. Enter a pure holy form for 30 seconds, increasing the effects of Serendipity by 200% and reducing the cost of your holy words by 100%. Next, we have Benediction. Your Prayer of Mending has a 30% chance to leave a renew on each target that heals. And finally, we have Circle of Healing. Heals up to 5 injured allies within 30 yards of the target for X amount. And now we'll take a look at the talents for Shadow. For our level 15 talents, we have Twist of Fate. After damaging a target below 35% health, you deal 20% increased damage and 20% increased healing for 10 seconds. Next, we have Fortress of the Mind. Mind Flay and Mind Blast deal 10% more damage and generate 20% more insanity. Third, we have Shadow Word Void. Blast the target's mind for X amount of shadow damage. For our level 30 talents, we have Mania. You move 1% faster for every 5 insanity you have. Next, we have Body and Soul and Masochism, which both act the same as the previous specializations. For your level 45 talents, we have Mana Bomb, replaces Psychic Scream, inflicts the target with a Mind Bomb. After 2 seconds, or if the target dies, it unleashes a Psychic Explosion, stunning all enemies within 0 yards of the target for 2 seconds. For our level 60 talents, we have Void Lord. Lingering Insanity persists for 8 seconds after your next Enter Void form. Next is Reaper of Souls. Shadow Word Death is now castable on targets below 35% health and always generates insanity as though it killed the target. Third, we have Void Ray. Each time your Mind Flay deals damage, you gain 10% increase in Mind Flay damage for 4 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Level 75 talents, we have Sanlean. Increases the damage of your Vampiric Touch by 20% and the healing of your Vampiric Embrace by 20%. We also have Auspicious Spirits. Your shadowy appearance now deals 100% increased damage and generates 4 insanity. Third, we have Shadowy Insight. Shadow Word Pain periodic damage has a 10% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on Mind Blast and cause your next Mind Blast to be instant. Your level 90 talents, we have Power Infusion. Infuses you with power for 20 seconds, increasing haste by 25%, increasing insanity generation by 25%. We also have Mindbender, which works the same as the previous specializations. We also have Shadow Crash. Hurl a bolt of slow-moving shadow energy at the destination, dealing X amount of shadow damage to all targets within 8 yards. For our level 100 talents, we have Legacy of the Void. Void form may be activated anytime your insanity level is 60 or higher. Next we have Mind Spike. This replaces Mind Flay. Assault the target with shadowy spikes, dealing X amount of Shadow Frost damage and leaving spike embedded in their mind. Up to 10 spikes may be embedded this way. Mind Blast will detonate those spikes, each dealing 200% of their original damage. And lastly, Surrender to Madness. All your insanity-generating abilities generate 200% more insanity, and you can cast while moving until you exit Void form. Then you die, horribly. Thank you for watching this video on the Priest Talents. If you liked, please hit the like button. If you didn't like it, I guess you can hit the dislike button. I really don't freaking care. And if you're interested in any of my other videos, you can always hit the subscribe button. If you're interested in any of the other talents for the other classes, you can click on any of the videos you see before you. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Later!